And hydrated. Exactly. Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. All right, I guess for the time being, I'll just go ahead and just kind of do an intro on him. This is another therapist friend I found in the Dallas area. He goes by the Big Black Therapist. I think he's taller than me actually. He might be 6'9", 6'10".
Damn. Damn.
Yeah. Um, he started up a daddy stroller club, which um with that he goes with different fathers and do walks with them a month, which I thought was pretty dope. His ability to kind of show up for his family. He's on a weight loss journey, but his journey is natural. He started losing weight about a year ago. I want to say he's like 50 or 60 pounds down.
Nice.
He's just been diligent and consistent. He has I believe he has two daughters. And he's just finding his flow, his rhythm. So that's, I appreciate his insight in his posts. He has a lot of different posts. If you see on Instagram under my big black therapist, he has nice inspirational quotes, positive affirmations, and things of that nature. So he's a well-rounded guy. I felt that he would give another perspective from the mental health aspect and just why mental health and working on that matters. I'll even be honest with me. I today just left my therapy session with a therapist, and it's going well. I feel like I'm able to kind of cut through my own bullshit. Like therapists need therapists to cut through their own shit because we can psychoanalyze everything that we can think of, but then we have to give the human aspect of saying like, as much as you're intellectualizing all of what you're doing, you are human to feel what you're feeling, and it's okay.
So tell me something here.
Mhm.
So again, um, do you find yourself making excuses? So like I know that you would pinpoint people and say stop making excuses for yourself. Like those are one of the things that you would probably do. Do you find
hmm
yourself making excuses for yourself that you feel like you would be telling your own clients?
Yeah, I found myself making excuses. I think I cut that out by just identifying like there's no validity behind the excuse I make. And then I don't my tactic is I can't overthink what I do. I just have to do it.
Yeah.
Once I become, strategizing why, the pros and cons, it just allows myself to be stuck so I don't do anything. Welcome, 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 man. How you feeling?
Jesus. All right.
Yeah,
Hold on. I'm not even on TikTok like this. Hold on. I feel like an old man right now.
it's all
Uh,
good.
It's all right. It's growing pains. We all go through it.
where's my photo? Can y'all see my face? There we
No,
go.
you
Damn.
Okay, you
we can't
should
see
have
your.
a camera there. There
There
you
we
There you
go.
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 There we go, bud. All right, we here.
Okay. Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Welcome.
So I was just talking a little bit about you and saying the Daddy Stroller Club and how you're another therapist in the community. Maybe kind of just going over your background and what's your population that you work with, things that you've learned in the mental health scene that you've applied to yourself.
Okay, yeah, man. First off, man, definitely appreciate you for bringing me on this platform. Love to have the opportunity to share with y'all. Greetings, everyone. My name is Damani Anderson. I am known as my big black therapist. You wonder why? Because I'm 6'9" and I am black. That's pretty much the whole story. Um, now, the reason why behind it, I wanted to challenge implicit biases. A lot of times when people hear the word big and black, there's a lot of different things that are associated with it. But there's a lot of expectation that people have. I'm a big guy. They expect me to play some type of sport. They expect me to do some type of physical activity. I'm a security guard. I'm something. And if I'm not doing it, then I'm a waste of space. And that is
hmm
something that I challenge. It took me a few years to get to this point where I stopped living for everybody else. I stopped trying to appease everybody else. There was a season where I would lie and tell people that, yeah, I used to play sports. I used to do this just to fit in or just so I could feel accepted. And that wasn't my authentic self. So
I
I
like
felt like
that.
God called me to the name my big black therapist to be me. and stand in that and challenge people and allow other people to feel seen in that space. Through that platform, I was able to gain connections in different spaces. One of them, like Ryan mentioned, was the Daddy Stroller Social Club. I am the resident therapist for that club. It was founded by a gentleman by the name of Calvin Bridgewater, and right now we're in the process of expanding. So we're doing a lot of different things. We got a podcast that's going to be dropped pretty soon. We got a lot of different things in motion right now. But I also was previous to becoming a therapist. I was I was a child abuse investigator for 2.5 years for the Department of Family and Children Services. I was a young adult minister for 6.5 years with my wife at the congregation I serve at now. I'm currently a praise leader there. I was also a big brother, big sister mentor for, cool. Big brother, big sister mentor for 15 years. So, and I worked for the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Tarrant County as a pre-college advisor, helping people, just get out. So once again, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you giving me this opportunity, space to talk and pour into your community. I feel like I just said a lot, so I'm gonna just stop right there to find out what I need to be saying next.
Okay, man, I appreciate you. You said it better than I could, so I appreciate you sharing everything about you, man. One of the things that stood out to me is that you pour into a lot of things in your community, like everything around you. Where's the
Yeah.
time that you pour back into you, or do you feel that what you pour into is a reflection of how you pour into yourself?
That's a very good question. I think it's both. For me, I grew up as an only child, and one of the things I always wanted to do was I didn't like the feeling of being lonely. And I always wanted to make sure that whatever space that I was in, I was pouring into somebody to allow them to feel seen, allow them to feel appreciated. And that feeds me. That feeds me. But in that spare time, or in that time, I had to learn to love myself again. We talking. This is the bariatric community, so we big folks are former big people, or in the process of staying true to ourselves and losing different weight. But for me, I felt like I focus on pouring into other people so much as a way to neglect me taking care of myself. And it took me, I mean, damn, I'm 36 now. It took me probably like 34 years to finally get to this space where I am able to learn to pour into myself.
Mm,
One way I used to do it was play video games. I played video games ever since I was a kid, and I kind of just stayed stuck behind the video game for the longest, and I utilized that as my way of getting out. Oh, I'm just decompressing by playing video games, but it was really hindering me. I wasn't active. I was just sitting in the room playing all day. It had gotten to a point where I was literally playing a video game where you clean a house, and I was cleaning a house while my house is dirty. I was cleaning a house on a video game while my house is dirty. I want y'all to understand that. Like, and I was just utilizing it as a waste of space to run away from what I needed to do, and that was take care of myself, take care of my mental health. And it wasn't until my wife and I we had a conversation, man. She sat with me and she said, if you had the perfect dream, like if you woke up, first off, I felt like she was a therapist at this point because I'm like, you utilizing the same tools I use, but she was just like, if you woke up and had a perfect dream, what would it look like? What would your day look like? And I mentioned everything except for playing video games, and she was like, you play video games a lot, but you never mentioned that. And you talked about going outside, you talked about spending time with us, you talked about working out, you talked about all of these different things, but you didn't say anything about video games. And I said, God damn it. Okay,
mm,
you're right. So it was at that point I said, you know what, I'm gonna put it down. And when I did, it opened my eyes, and I started to learn to love myself. I started to learn to work out and start this health journey. And yeah, as of right now, I'm down 65 pounds since last year. So thank y'all. I definitely appreciate that. Down 65 since last year. And so me learning how to take time to myself now, like, in the mornings, I work out. I typically do a walk around the neighborhood, a jog around the neighborhood. My wife works out. She's a workout. She works out all the time. So 5 days a week, 6 days a week. So I just go in there with her, and sometimes just being around her just motivates me. I continue to move my body, and so I try to get in at least four to five times a week. moving my body in some space. Like even after this, I'm gonna go in the gym and move my body a little bit as a way to just stay active today.
Do you find that your wife keeps you motivated on the days that you feel like, you know what, I don't feel like going to the gym or I don't feel like doing much? Like, is she your biggest supporter to like really like drag you out of bed or off the couch?
Yes, and it's by example. Like for me, I don't like it's by how she leads by example.
Mm,
You can tell you can talk to me all day, but it really don't do much to me. Like, oh, get out, get
ex-
out. That's great. But the fact, like, I give a perfect example, and I think you saw it, Ryan, but I posted it a couple of days ago. Like, our heater went out in our house,
mhm.
and during the coldest month of Texas, like we got down to the teens. It was 0 degrees outside, and we had no heat in our house. And so my girls had to. I got two baby girls. I had to put them with two toddlers now, but I had to get space heaters for their rooms, and we were only secluded to the rooms that kept us warm. And I worked from home, so I was feeling depressed. Like I didn't feel like moving. I didn't feel like it was just. I was so frustrated at the fact that everything wasn't turned on. Everything wasn't working. My clients canceled sessions on me. So then my clients, I'm not seeing anybody, so I'm just sitting in here by myself. And then, this happened. And then also a couple of days ago, the water froze over outside and the irrigation. That was $1,200 out the pocket. So I felt very like isolated. I didn't want to do anything, but my wife, she kept working out every day. She has a chart. She has a chart in her room where she put check marks on the stuff that she needs to do for the day, which is including Bible study, working out, doing Spanish. She's trying to learn Spanish. Like so, just seeing her, and she wasn't on my head about it. In the
Mm.
past, she was like, "Hey, you haven't done this, you haven't done that," and when I hear that, it doesn't. I'm like, okay,
There's a
it don't.
movie, right?
Yeah, it ain't doing nothing. It's just like, oh, okay, well, I haven't done it. I get really defensive because it's just
Hmm.
something that I'm very self conscious about. And so for her to not, even she checked in on me like maybe at the end of the week, like, hey, I hadn't noticed anything. And even yesterday, Sunday, I typically work out Monday, Tuesday, skip Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, skip weekends. But she motivated me. I said Sunday I'm working out, and I worked out, burned like 600 calories, was did a real good sweat, and I thanked her. I said, you know what, this past week you really motivated me by just working out. Like you didn't do anything. Like I just thank you for staying consistent on your journey, and that motivated me to do mine, and vice versa. During times when she doesn't feel it, I'm already in there. She said, you know what, I want to go out there, but we try to keep an open, honest communication about how we're feeling, and if we need one another in that space now, and that's how we kind of connect.
Got you, got you. And that's dope. I feel like it's like iron sharpening iron with each other, right? In the sense that she's showing you an example and you following through. I think that needs to be kind of really identified with because a lot of times we hear the conversation about what we should do with our partner or people that we care about or like friends, whatever. But if we don't see the action of what we're doing, what they're doing, we can't align to saying, well, maybe I can make this shift.
Yeah,
All right. So,
absolutely. It's a poem that starts off. I'd rather see a sermon than to hear one any day.
mm,
I'd rather one walk with me than just show me the way. And that's just I'd rather see it. Seeing your consistency in it, seeing the times where you didn't sweat as much, but you got out there, and it's like, you know what, we can do this together. Like I got this.
that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. Um, Going forward with all this in your journey and what you've been working on with your health, uh, what has it provided mentally for you? Do you feel you have more mental clarity? Do you feel you have more energy to provide for the family around you and the things that you do? Like, what has been the shift?
The biggest shift is it's unlocked the space for me. I think this journey, especially because it happened around the same time. Literally, I started. October 2023 was the birth of on my mom's. So my mom passed away when I was 21. So on her birthday, which is October 26th, I received my certification for my Big Black Therapist LLC. So
Awesome.
on her birthday, on that day, it started, and then January started this real realization of a workout journey. And I think that's what allowed me to feel so confident in this space now. Because like I said, I held on to, I wore my size as a badge of honor for so many years, even though inside I was sad. I was sad
Hmm.
because I wanted to wear those jeans. I didn't want the crack. Can we curse on here? I don't know. I don't want
Yeah,
to say
you
nothing.
can. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can curse,
first,
bro. It's
Okay.
all good.
Yeah. I don't want the crack of my ass showing every time I bend over, every time I stand up. Like I didn't like the fact that my drawers didn't fit all the way around my belly, and
That's real.
I got to fit it under my stomach. Like I didn't like those things, but I learned to just outwardly, this is what I am. Me and my boy had a club. We call ourselves 300 Club, where we proudly eat platters of wings at stops, like just this is what we do. But once I was able to really tap into just staying consistent and showing that I love myself, I think one thing I kept telling myself is I love you, like I really love you, and I'm gonna show you how much I love you by doing this. My girls need me. Another thing is my wife has arthritis in her knee right now, and she can't be as mobile with the kids. So that falls on me. That's and she had a flare up last month where she was in a wheelchair. I mean, on a scooter and everything. So it fell on me to be able to be there. And I think it was at that season where I was able to really like, I felt proud because I had been working out all year and I'm not tired. I'm running up the stairs to go do something. I'm coming back downstairs. My clothes fitting a little differently. Like I felt empowered and
Mm,
it allowed me to be able to be there in that space for my wife. But then also, like I said before, it allowed me to feel proud to walk in this space of being my big black therapist and not worry about how people perceive it, not worry about what people think of it. Oh, you're only targeting black people. That's not what I'm doing. Like
hmm.
it's none of those. It's none of those things. It's just saying I'm calling out what people think. When they see me, that's the
Exactly.
first thing they think is, man, he's big and black. Now that I say it out loud, what is the issue? So that I think I can attribute my dedication to loving myself, working out, staying consistent with that, to unlocking and untapping spaces in mental health where I feel proud enough to be able to express it and move and connect with others.
now
So,
Wow, man.
with
so
the
how important do you think it is for someone to find their mental clarity to assist them in their weight loss journey? Because a lot of times, if you're not in the right headspace, you're gonna fail. So, how important do you think it is for that mental clarity?
Very important. Nobody, you can't do it for nobody else. It has
You
to be for
can't.
you. You literally cannot do it. I tried. I tried so many times. When my first daughter was born, I said, I'm doing this for her. This is my baby girl. I want to be here till she's this and that. Failed. When my wife was at a verge and she was like, I really need you to do it. I'm doing it for you, baby. I love you. I want to be here for you. I want to live forever. Failed. Like I
Hmm.
had to be able to really tap into what was the reason behind me being afraid. And it was because part of it was because that was my identity for so long that I
Hmm.
didn't know myself outside of my weight, outside of my size, because that's what everybody notices first. That's what everybody talks about first. So therefore, that's what I attribute me to being. I am a big black man and this is all I am. And I'm so much more than that. I
Ex-
have, and we all are, and this is for everybody in here. Like we all are so much more than just what we look like, and don't allow society, don't allow everybody else to put you in this box and keep yourself labeled in this space of being this person. If you're big, you're big. That's okay, but be healthy and love yourself. Like learn to love yourself in the process, and that mental clarity is so important because that's what's going to continue to drive you on the days you don't feel like it. That's going to continue to drive you on those days when you eat and you fall off, but instead of falling all the way off, you get back on. Because that's what happens again. I do good for 3 months. I fall off. I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm not doing it no more. And
hmm.
I fall back into gaining 30 more pounds, 40 more pounds. But being able to say, you know what, that's not a definition of who I am. I'm gonna love myself. I'm gonna keep going. Let's keep going and get back on it. This is just a season, and I'm gonna get out of this season. So mental clarity is very, very important.
Much respect to that. Much respect to that. I actually want to even add it a further, just to the gentleman on the panel, and maybe the people in the live. Like when you said that you tell yourself, "I love you," right? I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't actually say that.
nope,
Like I will admit, like I will tell myself I love myself, right? From time to time, but I need to be more consistent with it. So maybe let's put this into practice.
Yeah.
Tony, I want you to say this. I want you to say I love Tony and see how it feels. Tell me how it feels.
I love Tony.
What does it feel like?
Natural.
Does it feels natural now? Good, good. What about you, Vicky?
Can't. It's something I
Mm,
struggle with. That's constantly all the time myself too, because a lot of times I don't love myself.
Mm.
mm. What do you think the struggle comes from, man? Like, do you feel like you hear it a lot? You hear it from people. What do
Yeah.
you think? Like,
I could like I, said, I could say it, but it's an empty saying to me.
mm,
Mm.
I don't feel it within. It comes from past trauma. It comes from me not being where I want to be right now. It's me being a perfectionist. It's me wanting to be better than I am and not seeing it. It comes from me being extremely hard on myself. Always hold myself to a higher standard.
But
So
you feel
when I
that
say it, I don't feel it.
but if you continue to tell yourself, because naturally when we're more overweight, we're more critical of ourselves. We have no problem beating ourselves down. And we have no problem repeatedly telling ourselves like what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you doing this to yourself? You're a piece of shit. We have no problem telling ourselves this. But to consistently tell ourselves that we love ourselves, we this is how you make yourself believe it. This is how you bring it to these are the affirmations how you manifest this feeling.
mhm.
And while I might not tell myself I love myself, I do positive affirmations every morning and tell myself there's something good about myself. So, I mean, and the things that I do for myself every day, I know that I'm working on this. But if I know that I don't say it to myself, I'm never going to believe it. I'm going to continually believe all the negative things that I used to say about myself. So, saying something consistently positive about yourself, especially I love you, is something that you may want to work on and may actually want to do every day because eventually you're going to get to the point where you're like, yes, I do.
Mhm.
Do you believe that you deserve to love yourself?
Yeah, like I think I should love myself. It's very important to love yourself. I know that. Like I said, it's just when I say it, I don't feel it, so it's an empty saying for me right now.
You must love yourself that you were able to, you followed through with your surgery. You're on this journey. You have to love yourself somewhere there.
Yeah, like I said, like I said, I'm an overachiever. I always try to overachieve. So I say, yes, I love doing this journey, but damn, I'm not where I want to be. And damn, I haven't lost the weight I want to lose. I always look at things from the negative side instead of the positive side.
But you love
Uh,
yourself enough to say that you're going to keep trying.
Oh yeah, I don't get me wrong. I keep on trying. That's one thing I'll never do. I'll never stop trying. But to not have that, I don't have that feeling of damn, I'm accomplished it. I've done it. It's just not there for me yet.
well, can I ask the guys on this panel like the difference between the journey and the finish line? Because that's kind of what you're bringing up is the aspect of I will love myself once I get to the finish line, right? And I've experienced that before. Like I've been like, if I lose another 120 pounds, I will love myself. Like I feel like I'll be in love, and but really, like you don't know. You have no idea. Like how about this? I did not know losing 435 pounds, what love would look like for me, right? I was just happy to lose the weight. I think the loving myself was the consistent action of just showing up to do what I needed to do to get there.
Yeah.
Right. So I think an element is do we do we understand the assignment of loving ourselves through the journey versus the destination? Like,
And
how many,
And
what are you gonna
that
say?
destination's not always a set point. The destination is the rest of your life.
Hmm.
yeah, no, I definitely see, and I think it's more so on the side of um, yeah, it's always going to change. It's always going to be something. Even when I work with clients, it's like I I love my wife. I'm gonna use my wife as an example. She became a medical doctor, and she was like, once I become this doctor, I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be in this space. She became a doctor, and it's like, well, I need to do this. Oh, well, I need to learn Spanish. Well, I need to learn this. Well, I need to learn that. And that's because society and our world states that we always have to look for the next step. We're never good enough. We never take time to celebrate the space that you're in. The fact that you even like you mentioned, the fact that you even got the surgery. That's a space that some people couldn't even get. I'm sure, for most people, they have to be within a certain weight range to even get to that surgery point. So the fact that
Well,
you fought and loved yourself to a point to get to that stage, and then all of a sudden now you got to the surgery, like being able to love yourself and say it, you know what, boy, I'm proud of you. Like I'm proud of the work that you're doing. I'm proud that you even got to this space here, and continuing loving yourself through that space, because the finish line is always going to be extended. We
mm,
continue to move the goal. Society tells us to continue to move the goal. You got $1 million, get 1 million more. It's always money out here. Keep eating, keep eating. It's like, why do I gotta keep, like, why can't I be complacent right here? Well, not so much complacent, but satisfied. Why can't I just acknowledge where I am now? Enjoying this journey, like, damn, I done came far. I used to not, like I said before, I can jog up my stairs and jog back down my stairs. I'm happy.
We forget
What
to
I want
live
to
in
do
the
is I still
moment.
got 70, I got about 70 more pounds I want to drop down. But the fact that I can do that, the fact that I can look in the mirror and I see myself slimming down and I see a little sun coming in my shoulders, I'm like, okay, let's keep going. Like the small steps of saying, you know what, you're doing this part, and I'm proud of you for doing this part. I love you for doing this part. Let's go to the next one, champ.
Like I said, and that's one of my biggest fears is that I'm never satisfied. That I can never find that satisfaction in anything I've done, and that's something I've always struggled with, being satisfied and being happy for what I've done. And like I said, and the funny thing is, I know I've done a lot. I've lost over 260 pounds. I'm able to do all these things that I haven't been able to do before. But it's just that feeling of not being satisfied just never gets there for me.
I mean,
and
live in the moment. I mean, there's an entire journey you're going through that you're not recognizing and celebrating. Because again, like we talk about all the NSVs, that's living in the moment. These are the things that you're gonna like. Hey, I remember when I was able to do this. Like we could all pinpoint those little things. If you're ignoring everything that's happening around you, because again, there's a great big world around you. If you're not taking in the moment, you're gonna miss what's going by you. If you're just completely blinders on, there are so many things that you're gonna miss, and there's so many great things that you have going on in your life that you're gonna overlook and then look back and be like, how did I not see that?
Have you had therapy, or have you thought about therapy?
Not in years. I haven't had therapy in years.
Because I don't want this to turn into therapy, but a lot of questions start popping in my head. But even just learning, like you said, trauma, past trauma, lived experiences. If you grew up in a home where it was performative based, then more than likely you will be hard on yourself, because that's what you learn. Your very first 4 years of life is basically how you learn how to handle flight or flight risk. Learn how you the very first relationships that you see with their mother and dad, even if they were absent, is how you view relationships. A lot of different things like we pick up within that first 5 years of life that we carry on with us throughout life. If our parents was hard on us or hard on themselves and always said, well, they never celebrated us, they never acknowledged the things that we did well, then we're going to struggle with acknowledging the things we did well, because it's always something else. And that's what we expect ourselves to do. We have this internal child in us that still want to feel love, that still want to say you did a good job, that I'm proud of you, baby boy. And sometimes we expect that from other people, and when we don't get it from those who we thought should have poured it into us, we have this negative connotation on us, on our own lives, saying, hey, I'll never get to this point. I'll never do this. It doesn't matter what I do well. I've had people who make 6 to 7 figures sit in my office and still feel like they're not enough. Like, and it's just like, how is that? Like, I
right.
forgot I forgot one of the billionaires who died of disease, but just always making, want to make more, want to do more, but yet still not satisfied. And that's just comes from a lack of just saying, you know what, I accept you, and learning to accept you for you, and not seeking that from anybody else, and learning that, and having that come from internal side, could be a good place to start the process, and start to work through.
Yeah. That kind of makes me think about how in this journey, or just anybody's kind of journey with weight loss and finding self, is what is being satisfied look, feel, and is described as. Because being satisfied is, you can either be the person who's always the hunger for more and looking for what the next thing is, or just being content and being okay that it's enough. like I kind of want to like know from like different perspectives from you guys, like what does satisfied look like for you?
So satisfied, honestly, like I'm not satisfied from where I'm at right now. But that's the drive that keeps me going because I know this is a lifelong journey. So if I'm not satisfied, I'm happy with where I'm at because again, I've accomplished a lot in this journey already. Yes, I put on 35 pounds since since 6 months ago or last year or whatever it was. But I lost 179 pounds. How many people can say they lost 100? I couldn't lose 100. I couldn't even fathom that when
Hmm.
before I had surgery. I mean, I think my biggest accomplishment was 89 pounds, and that's not a small feat either. But
Hmm.
the fact that I've been able to keep off the majority of all of this weight for this long, I'm 2 years out now, that's amazing. And that's satisfying to me. But I know that my journey isn't done. I mean, again, this is a lifelong journey. There's still more goals I want to accomplish, but I'm happy with what I've done. I'm happy with like who I am and who I'm becoming because it's going to continue to evolve. And if you lose that drive, then you become complacent. And that's where I feel like I fell back. And that's where if I got complacent, I'm like, oh, yeah, I can go back and do all the same things that I was doing. And that's where the weight comes back. And that's where you become complacent. You don't work out and you become inconsistent. So the motivating factor is the thing that keeps me going because I'm not satisfied. But it doesn't mean I'm not. Again, it's appreciating the journey from where I am and where I've come from.
Mm. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
I think
What were you gonna say?
yeah, so satisfaction for me, it derives from a place of achieving goals and meeting my own expectations. And what I've done instead of looking at 120 pounds that I want to lose, I just look at this month. And I look, and then if that's too much, I look at this week. Like I have and I don't know if anybody else utilize it, but I have a chest monitor that I utilize when I work out, my zone app,
Yeah.
and I put it on my chest, and you get like MEPS, certain amount of MEPS. I think it's 1,200 MEPS equals the World Health Organization for a person working out on an average, I think 4 to 5 times a week, which is what the standard should be.
Hmm.
So my goal, instead of looking at the weight, instead of looking at the at all of these different things, I say, look, 1,200 MEPs. That's what I'm going for, and I make that my goal. I make that, and if I can reach that, I'm satisfied. I'm happy. Like I don't look at the large number because I've always looked at the large number, and that's where for me, I also became very like, well, damn, I'm not, I can't. I'm stuck. I'm on this plateau. I lost 20 pounds, but ain't nothing else is happening. And I just say, forget it. I'm not doing it no more. But once I started to limit, or I guess just break it down into smaller pieces. Once I started breaking it down into smaller pieces and started focusing on, hey, let me just get this for the month. If I can get this for the month, I'm happy. I was able to reach gold status on there. And gold status means that for 12 months straight, I was able to meet that goal. And the next one is platinum. So next year, January, at the end of January, I'll reach platinum status. Like, but I'm not looking at it like, damn, I got to do all this work. No, all I got to do is this month. All I got to do is get this in within this month, and I'm good. So that's what I kind of define as satisfaction, is just being able to meet particular goals that I would like. But what I've done is, instead of looking at it, the large number, and looking at everything from a bigger place, I break it down to small, tangible spaces, and
Small goals,
that's
larger.
small wins.
Yeah.
Help me get to the bigger one.
Mm. I like that. I like that. What about you? E? And then I'll go next.
Like I said, it's still a struggle for me because, like I said, I've definitely gotten complacent over the last couple of months, and that's just comes from me not being satisfied. And I've always had this tendency when I'm not satisfied or I'm that about what I'm doing that I just say fuck it, I'm not doing this no more.
Hmm.
And that's the struggle I've been starting to see ever since I've not been able to go to the gym and things like that. It's just I lost that urge, that want, that need to do it, even though I know I need to do it. I just don't have that drive like I used to because I don't see or feel that side no more.
Mm, okay. I see that. I guess for me, being satisfied is not just number based, it's not just activity based. I look at it as like when you eat different meals throughout the day, like you got breakfast, lunch, dinner, maybe some snacks, is have I had enough to feel full? So if I think about the activities, whether it's a physical activity, whether it's a thinking activity, whether it's something that I'm trying to get through the day, did I do enough to feel full? And I think that's where I've been measuring my being satisfied at, not the bigger gulp of like if I drink a gallon of water, I'll be satisfied with my water results. Like, am I drinking, a quarter of this water within the hour? Am I eating enough of my protein? Am I doing all my assignments that I had planned for the day within this time frame to feel satisfied? And that's kind of where the measurement of that feeling is, because then it's not just a aspect of thinking about one specific thing to make me satisfied. And then if that doesn't work out, all hell breaks loose, right? It's more so of the things I put little buckets into and pour into and say, this is enough. I'm content with this. I don't have to be overwhelmingly focused on one thing or the other. To bring it into a picture of food, like think about a pie chart. If I slice a pie into 5 pieces, I don't have to eat the entire pie. I can eat a slice of it and be enough with that with whatever it is required, like whether it's a slice of pie when it comes to my exercise. I did my hour today for exercise, great, I accomplished, I'm satisfied. I don't have to go and say, well, because I felt like I didn't have enough calories burnt, I had to burn more, so I got to do more time because I need to feel satisfied based on the calorie count. No, I'm satisfied with the time I put in. As long as I gave 100% effort into that hour, that is enough for me.
I like that. I like that. And I think that resonates with me so well. Like even if I don't even give 100%, like if I stay dedicated to going outside and moving my body, then I've learned to feel like, okay, good job. Now tomorrow
Mhm.
let's get it in. Like tomorrow tight, like we gonna, and that's what typically happens. Like tomorrow I'll do even more. But just being able to, like you said, take those small chunks. And I struggle with drinking water. Jesus Christ, I hate drinking water. I don't know what it is. I struggle with it. But even taking that, if I just drink this glass this hour, boom, be satisfied with that. Let's go to the next hour. Like just taking those small chunks off of it and not looking at the bigger picture and being allowing ourselves to alienate us from hitting that goal because of fear or because of I'll never be this person or I'll never get there, could definitely be beneficial.
All right. And I like that because it made me think about like the correlation to food. How like in childhood, like you finish everything off your plate, and if there's extras, you get more, right? Like I don't have to finish everything off my plate, and nor do I have to get more for me to be satisfied. And if I look at that as far as the things I do in life, right? Me saying me doing that hour is enough. I don't have to say, well, because I'm not satisfied with that hour, let me keep on because I'll be burnt out, right? And I'll be just doing it for the thrill of feeling satisfied. And sometimes most of us get burnt out on just being satisfied because we overdo the succession of the feeling. It's not meant to be greedy. It's meant to just be enough,
So
right?
piggyback on that, we also talk about, you know, going too far and maybe doing it too fast. Like when we eat too fast, you notice that when you slow down, your brain has time to correlate that and say, you know what? No, I'm satisfied. But we're so hyper focused on like, no, I have to do the absolute utmost to achieve something that we're always looking for that quick fix, that quick like instant gratification. Things
Mhm.
take time, so slow down because obviously our weight loss slows down, and we have to take our time with this journey. You can't hyper focus on trying to get the ultimate result to the point where you're going to set up yourself to not be able to achieve goals, in the time fashion that you want it. So almost taking your time and steady, slow and steady wins the race.
Hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think they said it takes about 30 minutes for your brain to calculate that you're full.
Mm.
And I started doing that. I still struggle with that because I eat fast. But if my wife and I, we did that experiment where we went, and because we typically order appetizers and then we order a couple drinks and we order like. But one day we just sat down and said, okay, let's do this. Let's chew it. Let's taste it. And also it's more satisfying when you
Hmm.
actually chew the food and process it and really like, it's like, man, this was really good. And that's all I needed. And like within those 30 minutes, there was a satisfaction there. But I think, Ryan, you said something very important, like, childhood, finish your plate, finish your
Hmm.
plate. You not leaving that table till you finish eating everything off that plate. And I get the concept, but, that's what drives us to feel like we got to keep finishing. We got to do the whole thing. We got to eat this. It don't matter if I'm full. It don't matter if I don't like the food. I'm eating food just because it's there.
Eat your food before it
Hmm.
gets cold. Eat it while
Before
it's
it get
hot.
like I ain't got no microwave. Like we can't heat it back up. But it's like
It,
I I've
it's like
done
we have so
I've
many
done things.
narratives.
And
I've
again,
done
eating
things.
too quickly, you're talking about chewing your food and actually enjoying it, living in the moment.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of this is living in the moment
Life.
and just
Life.
enjoying the experience.
Yeah.
I think that whole sticks and stones will may break your bones, and words will never hurt me is a lie because of this, right? Because if you think about it, the words are the things that stick to us. Like, even though we logically know that we can't eat the entire plate, or we're not supposed to do that, or we should eat just to be satisfied, it's the words of what we heard that like kind of go over our head and say, "Yep, I can bypass what I know is right because there was a statement that has been ingrained in me to do it this way." And it's like it's being conditioned and saying, I have to change the conditioning what has been told to me and reframe it.
Yeah.
And that's for a lot of us. That's, for myself, that was 44 years of programming that I had to get through and to change. And you can't change that overnight.
Hmm. The guy Jamie said there are starving kids in other countries. You're absolutely right. When it comes to that, right? I think it's we have to maybe redefine this one, the being satisfied, but also redefine the value of what food means to you in the relationship. I know that I had to change my relationship with food, not because it's on like here on my plate or that it was a reward system, but more so of like, am I eating because it's nutritious? Like I have to question myself while I eat, which helps me not overeat anymore. Like think about it, like you're shadow boxing yourself and your thoughts, like, man, this looks good, but do I really need to eat it? And if I do eat it, am I really gonna feel better about myself? Am I really gonna make myself feel like this was enough either too? And if it didn't feel like enough, like if I got more, am I gonna be afraid of the scale? Like I have to challenge that so that it's not like, oh, okay, well, I'm eating because it tastes good, and then super focus on what it tastes like so I can eat more, but and forget all about what the driven goal is for where I want to be in life.
Is the 2 minutes you sit there eating that slice of cake worth it?
Hmm.
A lot of times, a lot of times we're bonded to eating through trauma as well. Um, we call it comfort food. Like, if
Hmm.
there's something going on, and every time we celebrate, what we do? Let's go out and eat. Like if somebody die, they have the funeral, but then we're gonna go eat. Somebody get a promotion. Guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna go out and eat and have drinks. Everything is tied to food, and sometimes that happens as well. To a point where either I eat everything on my plate because I don't know when my next meal is gonna happen.
Hmm.
And now that I'm in this successful position and I'm making money for my family, I still struggle with that. I eat. I eat because when my mom and dad was in an abusive relationship, and after my mom would, get beat or something like that, they'd take me out and go get something to eat if I was there. Like they were tied to, oh, let's go get some candy, let's go get some ice cream to make things happen. Or if my mama or daddy was cheating on somebody, they'll take me to go get ice cream to make me, ignore it. Like getting bribed. Like it's so many different trauma things that we kind of we bond ourselves to, and that is correlated with our unhealthy eating habits. And that's why back to bringing it back to therapy and the mental clarity, like being able to process those things that you grew up with, being able to process those experiences that you had, and see if that is correlated to some of the trauma that you've experienced growing up, because we all have it. Like for me, like I said, I was the only child, so food was my best friend. Food and video games with my friends. Like that's something that they never let me down. They always there. Like, and I can, they never say no. I think somebody said that. I can't remember who said that. But I heard like, one of the things about food is food never tells you no.
Right.
So you're always wanting it. You're always leaning towards it. You always want to eat it. You always want to find it because it doesn't hold any restrictions towards what you need to do in life, and it doesn't provide any barriers. So therefore, you run back to it. So learning how to correlate and understand what food is for. Back to me playing video games. Once again, I played a game called Ark. I used to play this game called Ark. It was a Stone Age game where you wake up and you wake up as a human being and you literally project yourself through life. And one thing I noticed about it was one of the things you had to do on there was eat, but it wasn't no food. Like it was meat. Like it wasn't like, oh, eat this nice cherry pie, eat this nice pizza. It was like you need to eat for fuel. You need to eat to
Hmm.
burn fuel. You need to eat so that you can have energy for the next day. So I started to shift my mind on that as well, like not looking at food as a reward system, not looking at food as a place of comfort. When things are tough, I talk to my wife. I journal. I go see a therapist. Like I have my own therapist that I work with. Like being able to move and shift my thought process from, oh, let me drop back to food. I think, one time I told my wife, we celebrating. I don't want to go out to eat. Let's go do something else. All right,
Hmm.
let's do something active. Like let's go for painting or something. Like let's just change it up instead of always going back to food, even though, just trying to learn how to control that relationship and change it.
Right. Right. Wow. I like that. I like that. Because that's one of the things that I deal with my wife was the aspect of like, we ain't gonna go out to eat. We're gonna do activities. And we're gonna love each other through the activities and not love each other through the food we ate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still tough for me with obviously my family because obviously my wife's family, my family, everyone still celebrates through food. So it's navigating like what I can do when I'm around it, and that's the tough part for me is because I still everything's in front of you, and then all of a sudden your eyes become bigger than your stomach, and it's like, oh, I'll have a little bit of this. You in your head, you're telling yourself, oh, I'm only having a little of this, but when you grab a little of everything, now you have a lot in front of you and then you don't realize it. And sometimes you need to stop yourself and be like, oh, you know what? Let me take a step back.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so we're almost up against the hour right now. I think that we've ran a full gamut on this, and I mean, I feel like we could probably talk another 2 hours. Really good
Easily.
conversation. Um,
Uh,
what advice do you have for people like navigating this type of a journey? Obviously, there's there's addictions to food. There's um, traumas that they've dealt with. Like, what advice do you give people like that are struggling in this type of journey?
First, I want you to know you're not alone. I think that's the one of the first things that we have to process, because a lot of times when we're dealing with these things, we deal with it internally. We feel like we're alone. We feel like we're the only person. I love this community, man. When Ryan told me that he was a part of this, he can tell you, I got excited. I was like, man, like that's awesome, because there's certain spaces where that don't get looked at and don't get acknowledged, and that's one of them. And while you're on this journey, definitely start, taking the steps to look internally about, what things do I hold on to? What traumas do I have? What's stopping me from putting the fork down? What's stopping me from staying consistent? Why do I keep falling off the wagon? And understand that this is a life journey. A lot of times we feel like once I get to this place, I'm gonna be good and I can just go on about life again. No, no, this is a journey. And and as long as you recognize that and realize that this is something that I'm going to be walking with for the rest of my life, or for this, at least extended amount of time, it didn't, you didn't put the weight on in 2 months,
Hmm.
so it ain't gonna come off in 2 months, and it's gonna be a walk with it, because like we mentioned in the past, there's trauma that's connected to it. There's different things. There's a celebratory thing that we connect with it. Like we're always utilizing it in some space. So learning how to be able to be to understand that this is a walk that you're going to be doing is important. And seeking help. There's nothing wrong with seeking help. There's nothing wrong with going to a therapist and saying, "Hey, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I'm trying to walk through." Finding these different communities that are doing it just like you all are. Like just being able to seek that professional guidance to walk with you through this and change your support system if you need to.
Yeah.
Not everybody's gonna be in your corner. I love my grandma to death. I promise you, I love her to death. But when I go to her house, she will feed me and then will call me fat right after that.
Mm.
And be like, oh, she'll call me fat. Like, man, boy, you done got big. And then she'll be like, go in there and get one of them pork chops. And I'm like, well, what is now? Which one is? I made a pound cake for you. Now, which one is it? Now, like you call me big, but then you said you made a pound cake. So, I
Some of the people we
I
love the
had to.
most are the enablers.
Yes, they
Hmm.
enable us. They love us the most. But she was a small lady. She didn't gain weight like I did, so it didn't affect her in that space. But just knowing, like, hey, that you might have to shift your community. You might have to find people who are for you, people who are willing to walk with you and support you, and also find those partners and make it fun, make it fun.
Hmm.
The last post I made, I was yesterday. I went for a walk. I walked for about an hour and a half around my community. I did a walk and a jog for about an hour and a half, and I shot a whole video lip syncing "How Does It Feel" by D'Angelo. Like I posted it on my social media. That's my last post. Like it was just fun. I just made it fun. Like I switched up the routine because like I mentioned before, last week was bad. So I really wanted to get a good workout in. So I did my jog and I did another lap and I said, you know what? Let's just have fun with it. Like change it up, switch it up. If you can't get to the gym, squats. I did for a full month for 2025 in January. I did a challenge where we did 2025 squats. That's 2025 squats for the month. And that's
Oh
all I did in
wow.
my room. Like I just did squats. It helped with my knees, and I saw the muscle definition in my thighs, and this was like, hey, there we go. Like just switching it up, not doing the same routine over and over again. Trying to find new ways to work out. Try to find new ways to just move your body. That's the biggest thing. It ain't even you ain't got to get on a workout plan. You ain't got to move your body. If you just standing
Hmm.
there doing this all day, do something. Move your body and just watch how being consistent with just moving your body is going to allow you to feel different. It's going to drive you to do more. I took a cycling class last week. I never thought I
Oh.
could fit my big ass on a cycle on a bicycle and pedal. I did, and we did yoga afterwards. Like it was great. Not gonna do yoga again because that's just that ain't for me. But it was an experience that because I worked out before, I wasn't intimidated when I got the invite. A lot of times we get intimidated by invites to certain things because we don't want to look like the big sloppy guy or the big sloppy girl. Like we don't want to be the big sloppy. Look at that fat ass over there. Why is he over there doing this? Stay consistent with it and love yourself. Find that community that supports you. And biggest thing I can say, just move your body.
Hmm.
Now you
Oh
talked
man.
about you're posting on social media and everything. Where could everybody find you? Where can they connect with you?
All right, so I'm on my all platforms. My big black therapist, my big black therapist, not big back therapist. Because people get that very confused. They be looking for my big back therapist. I have a big back, but hey, it's gonna be big. But it's my big black therapist. I'm on TikTok. I'm trying to post on there, but I don't know how long it's gonna last. So, but my main place that I use is Instagram at my big black therapist. Go to my website www.mybigbblacktherapist.com. I'm a life coach as well, so I do life coaching across states. If you're in the state of Texas, like I said, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist associate, so I will see clients in the state of Texas virtually and in person as well. And then I also do workshops speaking engagements, all of those different things for organizations and companies on, I mean, with DEI out the way, but I was doing implicit bias training at one point. But now, I'm doing authenticity, learning how to move in your authenticity. How do you represent yourself and be your whole self in every space that you go in? So y'all can find me on any of those platforms. And if you, if you got something from this, man, please let me know. Like, I love hearing back from other communities and being able to know that I'm pouring into people the way that they need to be poured into.
All right. So make sure obviously you're already following Corby, but make sure you're following Biggie. Follow BME, and I have my personal page. It's in the bio.
Okay.
Post on TikTok. We'll make sure that we share it, and we'll make sure that it stays out there. That way, you can grow your platform on here too. So we'll be there.
I appreciate that, man. Let me. I'll make sure I follow all y'all now.
So that's one way we can help support you. We'll make sure that happens.
Yeah, brother. I want to say thank you for showing up. If you see in the chat, a bunch of people saying this is a great conversation, good topic, and it opened up doors to make people think about things. So I thank you for that shared experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, man. Like I mentioned before, man, I just thank you for even giving me the space to, invite me on here. Like, and like we said, we had a very short conversation. I had to go see a client, so we couldn't talk too much, but we did have a good conversation over the phone. And I'm glad to be able to partner with you, and I look forward to some of the things that we got planned, or planning out some things for the future for fellow dads and fellow people out there in our community.
For sure, man.
And you are always more than welcome to come back to this platform. Come in the comments. If we have open panels and stuff, and obviously we'll have more speaking engagements for us to all be together and have some more great conversations. So thank you very much for your time tonight. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
No problem, brother. All right, guys, let's bring this one out.
All right, so Corbin, you haven't been here a while, but any final thoughts?
Oh, final thoughts? It was an amazing conversation. I That's it. It was amazing. I don't know what else to put it as, but yeah, it was an amazing conversation. Healthy.
So definitely, my final thoughts is basically live in the moment, and you are more than your journey.
Mm-hmm.
You are your authentic self, and never forget that. So obviously, that is our Bari Mill experience. And don't forget, right now we are going to Mental Health Shop Talk. So all the guys, make sure that you hit the link in the bio, and Ryan's going to be popping off and hosting us for the next, hour and a half, right, bud?
Yep, for sure.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much, guys. It was great having all of you guys up here, and I'll see you guys next week.
Peace out.
All right, have a good night, guys.
Bye.